Hello everyone, welcome to Today English podcast. I am very happy that you are here today. Before we begin, I just want to remind you to subscribe to this channel so you can practice English with us every day. Now let us start today's practice with a very simple question. This question may surprise you, but it is important. Have you ever felt that? Even though you listen to English every day, something still feels missing? You hear English often. You understand some words, but still the full meaning feels far away. It feels like the words are close, but you cannot fully catch them. If you feel this way, please know that you are not alone. Many English learners feel the same thing. And today we'll talk about this together in a calm and friendly way. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to our English learning channel. My name is Sarah, and I am really happy to spend this time with you today. I hope you are in a comfortable place right now. Maybe you are sitting on your bed, maybe on a chair, or maybe you are walking slowly outside while listening with your headphones. Wherever you are, please take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind become calm. This time is only for you. This listening practice is made to help you. I truly believe that by the end of this session, your English listening will feel easier, lighter, and more confident. Today's practice is called B1, English Listening Practice for Better Speaking. This title is very true. You really can improve your speaking by listening more. Many people think speaking should come first, but listening is actually the secret key. When you listen carefully, your brain learns English naturally. It learns the rhythm, the flow, and the music of the language. It learns how sentences are formed and how words connect. Even when you do not try to study, your brain is quietly learning in the background. In today's long listening session, I will speak slowly and clearly. I will speak in a natural way, just like real English. I will tell you a simple story. I will explain new words. I will repeat important sentences. I will ask you easy questions, and I will guide you step by step. You do not need to take notes. You do not need to repeat aloud unless you want to. All you need to do is listen and relax. Before we begin the main story, I want to share a small moment. For my morning, when I woke up today, I made a simple cup of warm tea. I sat near the window and looked outside. The morning was quiet and peaceful. That calm feeling is the same feeling I want you to have right now as you listen and learn English with me. I sat near the window and watched the early sunlight slowly come into my room. Everything felt quiet and peaceful. At that moment, I thought to myself that learning English should feel the same way. It should feel calm, simple, and warm. It should not feel stressful, scary, or too fast. Learning English should feel like taking small, slow steps forward, one step at a time. This is the feeling I want you to have today as you listen. So, now let us begin the main practice together. Today, I want to tell you a simple story from my real life. It is just about a normal day, but I will tell it with a focus on English learning. This story is not exciting or dramatic. Nothing wild happens. It is calm, honest, and simple because real English is also like this. Real English is used in normal moments every day. Every small moment can teach you something if you listen carefully and patiently. While I tell this story, I want you to imagine everything clearly in your mind like a Soft movie playing slowly. Do not rush. Just listen and enjoy the pictures in your head. The story begins on a quiet Monday morning. I opened my eyes slowly, and the first thing I noticed was the sound of light rain outside. It was not heavy rain. It was just a gentle tapping sound on the window glass. I smiled to myself because I really love rainy mornings. Rainy mornings make everything feel slower, softer, and somehow easier to understand. Maybe you know this feeling too. When it rains, the world feels calm and your thoughts become quiet. I sat up on my bed and stretched my arms slowly. My body still felt a little sleepy, but my mind felt peaceful. Then something interesting happened. Suddenly, I remembered a message from one of my English students. Her name is Lena. She is learning English, and sometimes she feels worried because she thinks her progress is too slow. She feels like she is not improving fast enough. The night before, Lena sent me a message. She wrote, "Sarah, I listen to English every day, but I still do not feel confident. How can I understand English naturally?" That message stayed in my mind when I woke up. As I sat there listening to the soft sound of rain, I thought that maybe today was the perfect day to answer her question. Maybe this normal day in my life could become a lesson, not only for Lena, but also for you and for everyone listening right now. And that is how this story truly began. After waking up, I slowly got out of bed and walked to the kitchen. I moved calmly without rushing. I boiled some water and made myself a warm cup of tea. While the water was heating, I stood quietly and listened to the soft sounds around me. This simple moment reminded me that learning English is the same. You do not need to rush. You just need to stay present, listen carefully, and allow your mind to learn naturally little by little. This time, I made a cup of warm coffee instead of tea. I sat at the table and slowly checked my phone. There was another message from Lena. She wrote, "I want to speak English clearly, but when I listen, I get nervous." I read her words again and again. The sentence, "I get nervous," stayed in my mind. And at that moment, I understood something very important. Many English learners feel this same nervous feeling. Maybe you feel it too. When you listen to English, your heart feels a little fast, your mind feels tight, and you worry about understanding everything. This feeling is very normal. It is completely okay to feel nervous. Nervous does not mean you are bad at English. Nervous only means that you care. It means you truly want to improve. So, today, as you listen to me, I want you to relax. There is no test here. There is no fast speech. There is no pressure. There is only simple English and a friendly voice guiding you gently. While I was drinking my coffee, I decided to make a simple plan. I thought, what if I take Lena with me through a normal day? What if I show her that English can be found everywhere, even in very small moments? English does not only live in books or classrooms. It lives in daily life, in quiet mornings, in small conversations, and in simple thoughts. So, I picked up my phone and sent Lena a voice message. I said, "Good morning, Lena. Today, I want to share something special with you. Just listen. You do not need to take notes. You do not need to repeat right now. Just listen with a calm mind. I promise that by the end of the day, English will feel a little easier for you. After sending the message, I smiled. I felt excited because I knew this simple idea could help many learners, not only Lena. And now you get to experience this day with me too. So imagine it clearly in your mind. After finishing my coffee, I put on a soft sweater, picked up my small bag, and stepped outside. The air felt cool and fresh. The rain had already stopped. The sky was still a little cloudy, but everything felt clean and new. I started walking slowly down the street. I was not rushing. I was just enjoying the quiet morning. As I walked, I noticed a small bakery on the corner of the street. The smell of fresh bread was floating softly in the air. It felt warm and welcoming. I decided to go inside. The bakery was quiet. There were only a few people and gentle music was playing in the background. I looked around, feeling calm and comfortable. And then I spoke softly to the woman at the counter, ready to begin another simple moment of English in my day. I stood at the counter and spoke in a calm voice. I said, "Good morning. Can I have one croissant, please?" The woman smiled kindly and replied, "Of course." I watched her carefully as she picked a warm croissant from the tray and placed it into a small paper bag. When she handed the bag to me, it felt warm in my hand. The soft smell of fresh bread made me feel even more hungry. I smiled and said, "Thank you so much." She looked at me and answered, "Have a great day." Now, the reason I am sharing this very simple moment with you is because this is real natural English. This is the kind of English people use every day. Let us listen to that short conversation again and think about it calmly. Good morning. Can I have one croissant, please? Of course. Thank you so much. Have a great day. These short sentences are very common. You can hear them in cafes, bakeries, shops, and many other places in English-speaking countries. They are simple, polite, and friendly. When you listen to these kinds of sentences often, they slowly become part of your natural English. You do not need to force them. They grow naturally inside your mind. Now, I want you to repeat these sentences softly wherever you are. You do not need to speak loudly. You can whisper or you can say them quietly in your mind. Take your time. Ready? Good morning. Can I have one croissant, please? Good job. Now, say this sentence. Thank you so much. And finally, say this one. Have a great day. You see, these sentences are short and simple, but they're very powerful. They help your English grow slowly, step by step. There is no rush. Small practice brings big results over time. After that, I walked out of the bakery with a warm croissant in my hand. As I continued walking down the street, my thoughts returned to Lena. I wondered how she would feel while listening to this simple story. I hoped that it would help her relax. I hoped she would understand that natural English is not about big words or fast speech. It is about calm listening and gentle understanding. I also hope the story helps you feel the same way. The secret to good English listening is not difficult stories or long sentences. The secret is patience. It is soft understanding It is slow, natural English that your mind can follow easily. As I walked further, I reached a small park. The grass was still wet from the morning rain. A few birds were hopping around looking for food. I sat down on a wooden bench and slowly opened the paper bag. The croissant was warm and soft. When I took my first bite, it tasted buttery and delicious. I sat there quietly enjoying the moment, feeling calm and present. And then, as I sat there, another gentle thought came into my mind, ready to turn into the next part of this peaceful English learning day. As I was sitting quietly on the bench enjoying my warm croissant, I suddenly heard a small voice behind me. The voice said, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" I turned around and saw a young man standing there. He was holding a cup of coffee in his hand. He looked polite, calm, and friendly. I smiled at him and answered in a gentle voice, "No, you can sit here." He smiled back, sat down on the bench, and said, "Thank you." We did not talk a lot, but we shared a few simple sentences. After sitting for a moment, he looked around and said, "Nice weather today." I nodded and replied, "Yes, the rain makes everything feel fresh." That was all, just a few words, but they felt natural and comfortable. This short moment is another good example of real everyday English. Sentences like, "Is this seat taken?" or "Nice weather today" are very common. People use them all the time in parks, cafes, and public places. When you hear these sentences again and again, they stop feeling strange. They stop feeling scary. Slowly, they begin to feel familiar and easy. This is how your confidence grows little by little. Now, let us repeat these sentences softly together. You can say them quietly or just think them in your mind. Is this seat taken? Good. Now say this. 1. Nice weather today. Great. And now, one more sentence. The rain makes everything feel fresh. Very good. Your ears are listening. Your mind is learning, even if you do not feel it. Right now, your brain is slowly understanding the patterns of English. This is how real listening practice works. It is gentle. It is patient. It does not rush you. After I finished my croissant, I stood up from the bench and began walking again. I felt calm and content. The day felt slow and peaceful, and I enjoyed the quiet sounds around me. As I walked, I thought to myself that many English learners need this kind of practice. Not fast English, not difficult English, just simple life moments, simple language, and simple stories that feel real. This thought made me smile again. I continued walking until I reached a small bookstore. The sign outside said, "Open." So I gently pushed the door and stepped inside. The bookstore was very quiet. There was a soft smell of paper and books in the air. I walked slowly between the shelves, looking at different book covers and titles. There was no rush. Everything felt calm. Then I heard a friendly voice from behind the counter. The woman working there said, "Hi there. Let me know if you need any help." Her voice was warm and welcoming. I smiled and replied, "Thank you. I'm just looking around." Again, very natural English, short sentences, friendly. Words, easy to understand. After a few minutes, I picked up a small notebook with a blue cover. I liked the way it looked and felt in my hands. I walked to the counter and said, "I'll take this." 1. The woman smiled and replied, "Sure. Would you like a bag?" I answered politely, "Yes, please." She placed the notebook in a small bag and handed it to me. As I thanked her and prepared to leave, I felt happy. These small conversations were simple, but they were powerful. They showed how English lives in everyday moments, and I hoped that Lena and you could feel this calm confidence growing with each step, each sentence, and each quiet moment of listening. I smiled and replied, "No, it's okay." The woman gently placed the notebook into my hand and said, "Have a wonderful day." I looked at her and answered, "Thank you. You too." This short exchange was warm and friendly, and it felt very natural. Now I want you to repeat these sentences slowly with me. You can say them softly or only in your mind. I'll take this one. Good. Would you like a bag? Nice. No, it's okay. Perfect. These are the kinds of sentences that help you feel comfortable and confident when speaking English in real life. They're simple, polite, and useful. When you hear them many times, they become familiar. When they become familiar, they stop feeling difficult. After leaving the bookstore, I began walking back home. The sky looked brighter now, and the air felt fresh and clean. As I walked, I listened to the soft sounds around me. I heard cars passing by in the distance. I heard birds singing gently. I heard people talking quietly as they walked. All of these sounds felt calm and normal. They made me feel relaxed and present. While walking, I thought again about Lena's question. She asked, "How do I understand English naturally?" As I walked slowly, the answer became very clear to me. You understand English naturally when you listen to natural stories. You understand better when there is no pressure. You learn when you take your time and allow the language to come to you slowly. You do not need to force it. And that is exactly what we are doing together today. When I reached my home and opened the door, the quiet sound inside the room made me smile. Sometimes silence feels like a soft blanket around you. My apartment felt calm, clean, and warm. It felt like the perfect place to continue my simple plan for the day. I placed the small blue notebook I bought from the bookstore on the table. Then I took a deep breath and relaxed my shoulders. Once again, I thought about Lena. I wondered if she had received my voice message from the morning. I picked up my phone and checked the screen. I saw a small notification. It was a message from her. She had replied with just a few words. She wrote, "I'm listening. Thank you." These simple words made me feel very happy. I knew that she was ready to learn. She was listening with an open and calm mind. And I also know that you are here right now listening in the same way. You are listening with hope. Hope to improve slowly. Hope to feel more confident step by step. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to continue listening. I sat down on my chair, took a small sip of water, and looked outside through the window. The sky was getting brighter. The clouds were lighter now, floating slowly like soft pieces of cotton. Watching the sky always helps me think more clearly. It helps me slow down and focus. As I watched the clouds move gently across the sky, a new idea came into my mind. It was not a big or complicated idea. It was something very simple, but very powerful. She gently pushed a small plate of cookies toward me and said, "Try one." I baked them this morning. This is another very natural English moment. When she said, "Try one," it was a friendly invitation. When I replied, "Thank you. They look delicious," it was a polite and natural response. Now, let us repeat that sentence together. They look delicious. Again, softly. They look delicious. Good job. These short sentences help your English feel alive and real. As we continued talking, Anna told me about her weekend. She said she visited a small town outside the city. She described the quiet streets, the warm sunlight, and how she spent the day walking slowly and relaxing. While she spoke, I listened carefully. I was not trying to analyze every word. I was just listening to her voice, her rhythm, and her natural way of speaking. This is very important. When you listen like this, English slowly becomes familiar. You begin to understand not only the words, but also the feeling behind them. This is how listening turns into understanding. This is how English becomes part of you. As I sat there with Anna, listening and responding naturally, I thought about Lena again. I hoped she could feel this calm connection with English too. And I hope you feel it right now. English does not need to be rushed. It does not need to be perfect. It only needs patience, gentle listening, and simple moments like these. Step by step, your confidence grows and English starts to feel like a natural part of your everyday life. I listened to Anna's story about her weekend, not only because I enjoyed it, but also because simple stories are excellent for listening practice. As I listened, I realized another important lesson. You don't always need special English books, lessons, or study materials. Real stories, even small and simple ones from friends, can help you learn just as much as any textbook. English is everywhere, not only in classrooms. You just need to notice it. Now, I want you to imagine the cafe with me. Picture it clearly in your mind. See the warm wooden table where Anna and I sat. Hear the quiet, soft music playing in the background. Smell the coffee in the air, rich and inviting. Notice the soft light coming through the window, making everything feel calm and peaceful. Feel the atmosphere. Feel the moment. This quiet, comfortable place is a perfect setting for natural English learning. When you listen in such a calm environment, your mind learns gently and naturally. After a while, Anna looked at the small notebook I had bought earlier and asked, "Is that new?" I nodded and replied, "Yes, I found it in a bookstore this morning." She smiled warmly and said, "It looks nice. Are you planning to use it for something special?" I hesitated for a moment and then answered, "Yes, I think I will use it to collect small English moments, simple sentences, natural conversations, things learners can use every day." Anna's eyes lit up. She nodded and said, "That's a great idea." In that moment, the cafe became a soft, quiet classroom. Not a classroom with desks, blackboards, or tests, but a natural classroom, a space where English happens gently and without stress. One small conversation, one simple sentence at a time can teach a lot. Listening, speaking softly, and noticing everyday English. This is how real learning happens. We continued talking for about an hour. We laughed quietly, shared stories, and noticed simple words and phrases. Then Anna looked at her watch and said, I have to go now. I promised my mom I'd visit her. I stood up and replied, it was nice seeing you. She smiled and added, let's meet again soon, and gave me a warm hug before leaving. After she walked out, I stayed seated for a few more minutes. I looked at my empty cup on the table, listened to the soft hum of people talking quietly around me, and reflected on the day. So many small English moments had already happened. The greeting at the bakery, the short conversation with a young man in the park, my phone message with Lena, and now this gentle afternoon with Anna. And then I realized something very important, something I want to share with you. English is not learned in one big moment. It is not learned by memorizing long lists of words or practicing only in classrooms. English is learned in many small moments, repeated gently, slowly, and naturally. A simple question, a short greeting, a polite sentence, a tiny story from a friend. These moments are the building blocks of English. Every small interaction is a chance to listen, understand, and speak. Every small moment, like saying good afternoon to someone outside the grocery store, replying they look delicious to a friend, or even just noticing a notebook and sharing why you like it, is an English moment. These small steps, repeated patiently and mindfully slowly, make English feel familiar, easy, and natural. And that is exactly how you grow confident and comfortable with a language, one calm and gentle moment at a time. Every small English moment matters. A greeting from a stranger, a short conversation with a friend, a polite phrase at a store, a quick message on your phone, or a tiny story someone tells you. These little pieces slowly join together in your mind. It is like a puzzle. At first, the pieces seem separate, but as you listen to more English, they start to fit together. Slowly, you can see the whole picture more clearly. And when you listen to simple stories like the one we shared today, your own English puzzle becomes easier to understand. Now let's shift our focus for a little listening practice. We will use sentences from the story we just experienced. I will say a short sentence, and after a small pause, you can repeat it softly, either out loud or in your mind. Ready? Let's begin. Are you free this afternoon? Good. I can meet you there. Nice. They look delicious. Perfect. Let's meet again soon. Very good. Good afternoon. Excellent. These short, friendly sentences are exactly the type of English you hear every day. They are not long or difficult. They're simple and natural. Practicing them softly helps your mind remember the sounds, the rhythm, and the meaning. This is how listening practice turns into understanding. Now let's do a small comprehension check. I will ask a few simple questions. Take a moment to think before answering. Question 1. What did Anna bring to the cafe? Think for a moment. Yes, she brought cookies she baked in the morning. Great job if you remembered that. Question 2. Where did I find the blue notebook? Take a moment. Yes, in the bookstore during my morning walk. Excellent. Question 3. Why did Anna leave the cafe? Think carefully. Yes, she needed to visit her mom. Perfect. These may seem like very simple details, but noticing and remembering them helps your mind stay active while listening. Small details matter. They are pieces of your English puzzle. After finishing my short reflection inside the cafe, I stood up, put my notebook carefully in my bag, and walked outside. The sun was shining brightly now, and the street felt lively. People were walking along slowly, talking softly. Cars moved gently, and the air felt warm and calm. I smiled and enjoyed the energy of the afternoon. I walked slowly toward the small park I had visited in the morning. When I arrived, I sat down on the same wooden bench as before. The bench was dry, and the grass around it looked greener in the sunlight. I took out my notebook and opened it carefully. I wrote down a few simple English sentences I had heard and used today. Is this seat taken? Good afternoon. They look delicious. Are you free this afternoon? I looked at these sentences and smiled. Each one reminded me of a real moment from the day. Each one was a small natural piece of English. Writing them down helped me notice how much English is part of ordinary life. These sentences are not just words. They are tiny lessons that grow inside your mind every time you listen, repeat, or think about them. As I looked at my notebook and thought about the sentences from the day, I felt something warm inside. These small lines were not just words. They were like keys that open the door to understanding natural English. Each simple sentence, each friendly phrase is a step toward listening and speaking naturally. And now, by listening to them today, these keys are becoming part of your English, too. While I sat on the park bench, a small child ran past me, laughing loudly. His mother followed him and said softly, "Slow down." The child stopped for a moment and answered, "Okay." This tiny moment made me smile. Even a child's simple English can become listening practice. And now let us repeat those short lines together. Slow down. Okay. Did you notice how natural and real they feel? Just two small words, but they carry meaning, emotion, and rhythm. They remind us that English is everywhere if we pay attention. You don't always need books or lessons. You can practice English from the world around you. People talking, children playing, or even the messages you read on your phone. I realized something important while watching that little scene. Life can feel fast, just like the child running through the park. But learning English does not have to be fast. You can slow down your mind, slow down your stress, and just listen slowly, softly, steadily. This is the way real learning happens. The afternoon felt calm and gentle. The sky was bright blue now, and the sun was warm on my skin. Birds hopped on the grass and sang quietly. The park was full of life, but it was peaceful too. Everything around me moved slowly like a soft movie. I felt grateful for the quiet moments, grateful for simple English, and grateful for the chance to share this story with you. Somewhere in the world, you are listening right now, learning with me. One calm step at a time. I stayed on the bench a little longer, enjoying the sunlight on my face and the soft sounds of the park. Then I whispered quietly to myself, this is what learning feels like. Slow, soft, steady. And I wanted the same for you. English does not need to be rushed. You don't need to speak fast or use difficult words. You just need small, simple moments repeated gently every day. The sun was slowly moving lower in the sky as I stood up from the bench and began walking home. Afternoon was turning into early evening. The air felt cooler now, brushing softly against my face. The shadows of the trees stretched across the grass, and the sound of birds filled the quiet space. Every part of the moment was gentle and calm. As I walked, I thought about the day so far. The bookstore, the bakery, the cafe, the park. All these small moments had been full of English. Friendly greetings, polite questions, short sentences, and tiny stories. They had all been part of the day. And now I realized clearly, learning English is not about one big lesson or one long study session. It is about many small moments, calm, gentle, and natural, happening every day. Step by step, little by little, these moments build understanding, confidence, and comfort. As I continued walking home, I thought about all the small conversations and moments of English I had experienced that day. Every greeting, every question, every short sentence slowly built a rhythm. It felt like the day itself was teaching me something calm, simple, and strong. Something I wanted to share with you. I passed a tall tree whose branches were still wet from the morning rain. Tiny drops of water fell quietly from the leaves one by one, landing softly on the ground. The sound was so small, almost invisible, but I could hear it. That made me think about listening in English. Sometimes the smallest sounds or sentences can teach the biggest lessons. Even short, simple English sentences can help you improve the fastest if you notice them carefully. As I reached the street, I saw a small crowd gathered on the sidewalk. A young man was playing the guitar. His music filled the air with a warm, slow tune. The melody made people stop and breathe. For a moment, I stood quietly listening. His voice was soft but clear, and the lyrics were simple. The rhythm felt steady, like a calm heartbeat. A woman standing next to me said, "He plays here every Friday." I smiled and replied, "He's really good." She nodded and said, "Yes, his music always makes the evening feel special." And then she walked away slowly, leaving me with a gentle sound of the guitar. These small moments might seem ordinary, but they're powerful for English listening practice. When I said he's really good, I was using a common expression that you can use in many situations. For example, you can say it about music, food, movies, or someone's skill. Let's repeat it softly together. He's really good. Good. Another useful expression the woman used was, "He plays here every Friday." Repeat this one as well. He plays here every Friday. Nice job. Simple sentences like these are easy to remember and very natural in daily life. After a few minutes, I continued my walk. The sky above was turning a soft light orange, like watercolor, slowly spreading across the evening. I breathed deeply, letting the cool air fill my lungs. My feet moved slowly, enjoying each step. I noticed people walking by, cars passing gently, and the soft sounds of the city settling into evening. Every part of this moment felt calm and peaceful. I realized again that learning English doesn't have to be rushed. It doesn't require perfect sentences or difficult words. Real learning comes from small moments, repeated gently, listening to simple conversations, noticing short sentences, and paying attention to ordinary life are the best ways to understand English. Naturally, as I walked, I thought about all the small lessons from the day. The bakery, the cafe, the park, the notebook, the child running, the music on the street. Each moment was teaching me English in a quiet, patient way. Step by step, little by little, these simple experiences were helping my listening, my understanding, and my confidence. And I realized something important. Just like a calm day, English learning works best slowly, softly, and steadily. One short sentence, one friendly phrase, one natural interaction at a time. This is how you build real English. I followed the familiar path toward home, but my mind wandered. I thought about something many English learners feel: nervousness. How many people worry about speaking English? They worry about making mistakes, sounding strange or not understanding quickly. I want to remind you gently, feeling nervous is completely normal. Everyone feels it. Nervousness just means you care. It means you want to improve. And the more you listen, the more you practice, the more natural English becomes. While I was walking, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Lena. She wrote, "I listened to your morning story. It felt easy to understand. Thank you for speaking slowly." Her words made me feel warm inside. I replied softly, "I'm happy. It helped. I'm recording more now." I smiled because I knew that you two were listening and learning step by step, just like Lena. As I came closer to my apartment street, I passed a small flower shop. The owner, an older woman with silver hair tied neatly in a bun, was arranging fresh flowers outside. She smiled at me and said, "Good evening." I replied, "Good evening." She held up a bright sunflower and said, "These just arrived today. They're beautiful, aren't they?" I nodded and said, "Yes, they look wonderful." Let's repeat that sentence together softly. They look wonderful. Good. Simple, soft, and natural. The flower shop was full of bright colors, pinks, yellows, greens, all arranged like a gentle welcome to anyone walking by. I always admired how carefully the owner placed the flowers. Every movement was slow and thoughtful, almost like a quiet dance. She looked at me and said, "You seem happy today." I laughed softly and replied, "I had a peaceful day." She nodded and said, "That's good to hear." That expression, "that's good to hear," is very natural. Repeat it softly with me. That's good to hear. Excellent. Short, friendly sentences like this are everywhere in life. They help you speak English naturally because they are simple and real. After a short talk, I continued walking toward my building. The sky was soft and warm, the last sunlight of the day brushing the tops of the trees. I opened the door, walked up the stairs, slowly enjoying each step, and thought about the lessons from the day. Small, simple English moments happened everywhere. At the bakery, the cafe, the park, the bookstore, the street musician, and now at the flower shop. Every friendly phrase, every polite question, every small conversation had helped me learn English naturally. And I realized again, English is not learned in one big study session. It is learned in many small moments, gently repeated, noticed, and appreciated. Each sentence builds on the last. Each moment adds a piece to your puzzle of understanding. When I reached my apartment, I felt calm. I put my bag down, opened my notebook, and wrote a few sentences from the day. They look wonderful. That's good to hear. He's really good. He plays here every Friday. Seeing these simple sentences on the page reminded me how much English is already part of ordinary life. Small, soft, steady, repeated moments build understanding, confidence, and natural listening skills. And that is exactly the kind of learning I hope you are experiencing right now. As you listen gently to the story step by step, I stepped into my apartment. The room welcomed me with the same soft quiet I had felt in the morning. Everything felt calm, peaceful, and gentle. I placed my bag on the table, took a deep breath, and decided to sit by the window. The evening light filled the room, turning everything slightly golden. It felt like a quiet hug from the day itself. I opened my notebook again. On one page, I wrote 3 words: peaceful, simple, natural. These words described not only my day, but also the way I want you to learn English. Peacefully, simply, naturally. Learning doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't need to be fast or difficult. Small steps, calm moments, and gentle listening are enough. It means you want to improve. And the more you listen, the more you practice, the more natural English becomes. While I was walking, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Lena. She wrote, "I listened to your morning story. It felt easy to understand. Thank you for speaking slowly." Her words made me feel warm inside. I replied softly, "I'm happy. It helped. I'm recording more now." I smiled because I knew that you two were listening and learning step by step, just like Lena. As I came closer to my apartment street, I passed a small flower shop. The owner, an older woman with silver hair tied neatly in a bun, was arranging fresh flowers outside. She smiled at me and said, "Good evening." I replied, "Good evening." She held up a bright sunflower and said, "These just arrived today. They're beautiful, aren't they?" I nodded and said, "Yes, they look wonderful." Let's repeat that sentence together softly. They look wonderful. Good. Simple, soft, and natural. The flower shop was full of bright colors, pinks, yellows, greens, all arranged like a gentle welcome to anyone walking by. I always admired how carefully the owner placed the flowers. Every movement was slow and thoughtful, almost like a quiet dance. She looked at me and said, "You seem happy today." I laughed softly and replied, "I had a peaceful day." She nodded and said, "That's good to hear." That expression, "that's good to hear," is very natural. Repeat it softly with me. That's good to hear. Excellent. Short, friendly sentences like this are everywhere in life. They help you speak English naturally because they are simple and real. After a short talk, I continued walking toward my building. The sky was soft and warm, the last sunlight of the day brushing the tops of the trees. I opened the door, walked up the stairs, slowly enjoying each step, and thought about the lessons from the day. Small, simple English moments happened everywhere. At the bakery, the cafe, the Park, the bookstore, the street. Musician, and now at the flower shop. Every friendly phrase, every polite question, every small conversation had helped me learn English naturally. And I realized again, English is not learned in one big study session. It is learned in many small moments, gently repeated, noticed, and appreciated. Each sentence builds on the last. Each moment adds a piece to your puzzle of understanding. When I reached my apartment, I felt calm. I put my bag down, opened my notebook, and wrote a few sentences from the day. They look wonderful. That's good to hear. He's really good. He plays here every Friday. Seeing these simple sentences on the page reminded me how much English is already part of ordinary life. Small, soft, steady, repeated moments build understanding, confidence, and natural listening skills. And that is exactly the kind of learning I hope you are experiencing right now. As you listen gently to the story step by step, I stepped into my apartment. The room welcomed me with the same soft quiet I had felt in the morning. Everything felt calm, peaceful, and gentle. I placed my bag on the table, took a deep breath, and decided to sit by the window. The evening light filled the room, turning everything slightly golden. It felt like a quiet hug from the day itself. I opened my notebook again. On one page, I wrote 3 words: peaceful, simple, natural. These words described not only my day, but also the way I want you to learn English. Peacefully, simply, naturally. Learning doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't need to be fast or difficult. Small steps, calm moments, and gentle listening are enough. I sat quietly for a few minutes, just listening. The distant hum of cars, the soft voices of people talking on the street, the quiet wind brushing against the window. All of these sounds felt like part of the story I was sharing with you. Life itself was teaching me English in the simplest, most natural way. Then my phone rang. I looked at the screen and saw my friend Mark calling. I answered, "Hi Mark, how are you?" He laughed warmly and said, "I'm good. I'm on my way to the supermarket. Do you need anything?" I shook my head even though he couldn't see me and said, "No, I'm fine. Thank you for asking." He replied, "All right, just checking. Have a good evening." I smiled and said, "You too," and ended the call. These short, natural phrases are exactly the kind of English you hear and use every day. Let's practice them softly together. Do you need anything? Good. Now, have a good evening. Excellent. Short, friendly sentences like these are easy to remember, and they help your English feel natural without pressure. After the call, I stayed near the window and watched the sky slowly darken. Street lights turned on one by one, shining like little stars along the road. The city became calm again, just like it had been in the morning. But this was a different kind of quiet, an evening quiet, soft, deep, and peaceful. As I sat there, I felt something important growing inside me. I realized that English learning is not only about studying or memorizing words. It's about feeling. It's about noticing moments in daily life. It's about letting language slowly enter your world without stress. The greetings at a bakery, the short conversations with friends, the gentle thank you or good evening. All of these pieces together help English feel real and natural. And I wanted to share that feeling with you. So I decided to guide you through another listening session. Not with complicated sentences, not with fast speech, but with soft, calm English, the kind you can hear and understand in your own time. English can live in your day like the sunlight in the morning or the stars in the evening. You just need to slow down, listen, and enjoy. I open my notebook again, ready to write down more simple, natural phrases from the day. Every word, every sentence was a small key unlocking understanding. And I wanted you to feel that too. Step by gentle step. Peacefully, simply, and naturally. I decided to continue our listening practice. This time with slower, gentle sentences. Listen first, then repeat. Softly in your mind or whisper them. Quietly. Think quietly and answer in your mind. Question 1. What was the young man doing on the street? He was playing the guitar and singing. Question 2. What did the flower shop owner show me? She showed me a sunflower. Question 3. What did Mark ask me on the phone? He asked, do you need anything? If you remembered all of these, your listening is already improving. And even if you forgot one or two, that's okay. Listening takes time. And every moment you pay attention helps your brain learn. After finishing my quiet reflection by the window, I stood up and stretched my arms. I felt calm, relaxed, and ready to make dinner. I walked to the kitchen, turned on the soft overhead light, and started preparing something simple. Warm vegetable soup. I chopped the vegetables slowly, listening to the soft sounds of the knife against the cutting board. Even these small, everyday sounds felt peaceful and part of my learning day. While cooking, I thought about something very important. Confidence. Many English learners think confidence comes only after fluency. That is not true. Confidence comes first. Confidence grows when you try, when you speak, when you listen, when you repeat small sentences. Even if you feel unsure, confidence is built step by step. And right now you are building it just by listening to this story. Every word, every sentence you hear is adding strength to your English skills. As the soup warmed on the stove, a gentle aroma filled the kitchen. I sat at the table, waiting patiently. While waiting, I opened my notebook and thought about writing more simple sentences for you. Each sentence was like a small key opening another door to understanding English naturally. I wrote things like, good evening. They look wonderful. That's good to hear. Are you free this afternoon? Seeing these words on the page reminded me that English is part of life, not just something to study from books. Every greeting, every question, every kind phrase I heard or said today had helped me grow. And that is exactly what I wanted you to see. Learning English is about noticing and using the language in everyday moments. I took a deep breath, listening to the soft sounds around me. The quiet hum of the city outside, the distant voices of neighbors, and the peaceful rhythm of my own thoughts. These small, simple moments are where real learning happens. Step by step, day by day, gentle and patient English becomes part of you. And as I waited for the soup to finish, I smiled softly, knowing that you were listening along with me, learning naturally, calmly, and confidently, one small moment at a time. I wrote in my notebook, I can try. I can learn. I can understand. 3 small sentences, but they are very strong. Repeat them softly in your mind, or whisper them. I can try. I can learn. I can understand. Let these words stay with you. Let them guide you. There, like little lights showing you the way. When the soup was ready, I poured it into a bowl and sat down to eat. The warmth made me feel calm and comfortable. I took slow, careful sips, watching the soft light in the room. I felt grateful for this quiet evening and, most of all, grateful for you listening with me. It felt like we were sharing the day together, step by step, moment by moment. After eating, I washed the dishes slowly, enjoying the warm water on my hands. I turned off the kitchen light and walked to the living room. The night had fully arrived, and the world outside was calm, quiet, almost silent. I sat on the sofa, pulled a blanket over my legs, and took a deep breath. This was my favorite part of the day, the still, peaceful nighttime moment. As I sat there, I thought about everything we had shared today. The morning walk, the bookstore, the cafe, the park, the music on the street, the flower shop, the evening by the window, and the warm soup. Each small moment connected softly like beads on a string, and each moment carried real natural English, the kind that feels simple, friendly, and easy to understand. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the calmness fill me. Then I opened them and whispered softly, learning is a journey, and I want you to feel that journey too. Tomorrow will bring a new story, a new moment, and a new chance to listen and grow. But for now, we continue this evening together, because there is still more to share, more to practice, more to feel. Stay with me, stay calm, and let the English flow naturally. You are not just listening, you are living it. Every small word, every simple phrase, every gentle sentence is part of your learning. When I think about how English feels for many learners, I remember something important. It can feel scary at first, or fast, or confusing, but it doesn't have to be. English can be peaceful, slow, and soft like the quiet night outside my window. It can be part of everyday life. The greetings, the small conversations, the music, the smells, the walks, the books. All these small pieces together make learning feel natural. Even small moments can teach big lessons. A thank you from a shop owner, a short question from a friend, a tiny song from someone playing the guitar, they all help your brain notice English without stress. And when you listen like this slowly and softly, your confidence grows, not overnight, but day by day, step by step, sentence by sentence. I stayed on the sofa a little longer, enjoying the calm. I watched the streetlights turn on one by one, shining like tiny stars along the dark road. I thought about the day, and I thought about you listening with me, learning gently, naturally at your own pace. Learning doesn't have to be loud, fast, or stressful. It can be slow, soft, peaceful, and strong. And that is the way I want your English to grow. I whispered one last thought for the evening. You are listening. You are learning. You are growing. And with that, I felt ready to end the day, knowing that every quiet moment, every simple sentence, and every soft repetition was helping you build your English step by step. I remember one special day very clearly. It was a day that changed the way I explain English forever. That day, I met a small group of learners in a community class I was helping with. Today, I want to take you into that memory because it can help you improve your listening, your speaking, and your confidence. As always, relax your body, breathe slowly, and imagine that you are there with me. It was a warm afternoon. The weather was comfortable, not too hot and not too cold. I walked into a simple classroom where about 10 learners were sitting in a circle. When I looked at their faces, I noticed something familiar. They looked nervous. Many English learners feel this way, especially when they have to listen for a long time or speak in front of others. I smiled gently and said, "Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm happy to be with you today." My voice was slow and warm. After a moment, the feeling in the room began to change. The air felt lighter. People started to relax. The room felt softer and more open. Then a girl sitting near the back raised her hand. Her name was Mira. She looked shy but honest. She said, "I am scared to listen to English because I cannot follow fast sentences." When she said this, many others nodded their heads. They felt the same way. I nodded, too, and shared something important. "I want you to hear it clearly," I said. "You don't need to follow everything. You only need to follow enough to keep going." When I said this, something changed. People smiled. Some looked relieved. They realized they didn't need to be perfect. This is the same message I want to give you today. You do not need to understand every word. You do not need to catch every sentence. You only need to stay with the story and keep moving forward. Listening is not a test. It is a journey. After that, I asked the group a simple question to warm up. I said, "Tell me one thing you enjoy in English." Some people laughed quietly because they thought they had nothing to say. They felt shy. But then, a boy named Rafi spoke up. He said, "I like English movies, but I understand only a little." His words were simple, but very powerful. And when he said that, I thought of you. You listening right now. You may enjoy English movies, English songs, or English videos like this one, but maybe you understand only a little, and that is completely okay. Understanding a little is how every journey begins. No one starts by understanding everything. Step by step, sentence by sentence, your understanding grows. The more you listen calmly, the more your ears learn. The more your ears learn, the more confident you feel. That day in the classroom taught me something important. English learning does not need to be fast or stressful. It needs to be kind, patient, and gentle. When learners feel safe and relaxed, English starts to make sense naturally. So, today, as you listen to the story, remember this. You are doing enough. Just listening is enough. Just staying with the story is enough. You are learning even when it feels slow, and that is exactly how real progress begins. After talking about enjoying English a little at a time, I wanted the group to feel something important. I said, understanding a little is the beginning. Understanding more comes with time. Everyone nodded quietly. They were listening, feeling safe, not rushed. Then I asked them to do a small, fun exercise. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson here at Today English Podcast. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below telling me what you want to learn next. Your support helps the channel grow and helps me create more lessons for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next class.